The towering glass skyscraper of Shengshi Group stood in the center of the city's financial district, its exterior reflecting the cold gleam of bustling city lights. The company's annual intern assessment banquet was in full swing inside the top-floor luxury banquet hall. All outstanding interns, department supervisors, and senior company executives gathered here, waiting for the final announcement of the official employment quota and the annual Best Intern Award. This award represented the highest recognition for new employees, along with a permanent promotion quota and a one-year salary bonus, enough to lay a solid foundation for every newcomer's workplace career. I stood quietly in the farthest corner of the crowd, wearing a cheap white shirt and black suit uniform assigned by the company, my hair simply tied up, no makeup, no expensive accessories. For 3 months, I had been pretending to be a poor, ordinary college intern from a rural family. I was Shunji, the most low-key and inconspicuous intern in the entire marketing department, known for being docile, diligent, and utterly unassuming. No one in the entire company knew my true identity. I was the sole granddaughter and core heir of the Shin family's trillion-dollar consortium, the hidden major shareholder of Shengshi Group, the very company I was currently interning at. I owned 60% of the group's total shares, controlled all the company's core decision-making power, and held the life and death of every executive and employee in my hands. I deliberately gave up my supreme status, hid my wealth and power, and chose to enter the group as an ordinary intern. I was tired of the hypocritical flattery and utilitarian relationships in the upper class. I wanted to experience the most ordinary workplace life, make sincere friends, and meet people who liked me for my personality, not my wealth and status. During these 3 months of internship, I lived a simple and frugal life. I took the crowded subway to work every day, ate cheap box lunches in the staff canteen, and always took the initiative to undertake the most trivial and tiring work in the department. I never complained, never showed off, and treated every colleague with sincerity and humility. 2 people were the only ones I trusted wholeheartedly in the company. The first was my direct boss, Lu Chen, the young and handsome marketing director. He was always gentle to me on the surface, often praising me for being diligent and sensible, saying that I was the most potential newcomer in the department, and promising to give me the best intern assessment result and a formal full-time position. The second was my only best friend and fellow intern, Zhang Man. We entered the company together, ate together, worked overtime together, and shared all our trivial joys and troubles. She always pretended to be considerate and kind, comforting me when I was tired, saying she would always stand by my side, and swearing that we would grow up and get promoted together in the workplace. I foolishly believed in their superficial kindness. I worked overtime day and night to complete all the core project data and marketing plans assigned by Lu Chen. I took the initiative to help Jiang Man finish her work, shared all my work experience and resource skills with her, and even saved up my meager internship salary to buy her gifts. I regarded them as my most important workplace companions, never guarding against them, never suspecting their sincerity. I even planned to officially reveal my identity after the intern assessment. I wanted to promote Lu Chen to the group's senior management and give Jiang Man a core department leadership position, repaying their so-called care and guidance for me during the internship. The annual Best Intern Award was the key project I had spent 2 months polishing. I stayed up countless nights sorting out market data, designing innovative marketing plans, and integrating industry resources, creating a perfect project plan that could bring hundreds of millions in revenue to the group. This project was my exclusive achievement, and it was the absolute champion of this year's intern assessment. I thought this would be the starting point of my sincere workplace friendship, but I never expected that the warm banquet would turn into a cruel betrayal farce that shattered all my illusions. When the host took the stage to announce the award results, the spotlight suddenly fell on Jiang Man instead of me. Under the shocked gaze of all interns and colleagues, Jiang Man walked gracefully to the stage, wearing a new luxury dress she had never afforded before, her face full of proud smiles. Before I could react, Lu Chen also stepped onto the stage, standing intimately beside Jiang Man. He held her hand tightly, his eyes full of doting that I had never seen before. The host's excited voice resounded through the entire banquet hall. Congratulations to Jiang Man for winning this year's annual Best Intern Award. Her innovative marketing project has been unanimously praised by the senior management and will be officially launched as the group's key project next quarter. The huge screen behind the stage slowly displayed the project content. Every word, every data, every design idea was exactly the exclusive plan I had stayed up late to polish and hand over to Lu Chen for review. My whole body turned cold in an instant. I stared blankly at the two people on the stage, my fingers trembling uncontrollably. Lu Chen faced all the guests and colleagues, speaking in a solemn and proud tone, completely stealing my credit as his own and Jiang Man's. This excellent project was completed by Jiang Man under my personal guidance. She is the most talented and hardworking newcomer in our department. From today on, Jiang Man will be officially promoted to full-time employee with a double salary increase and will be in charge of this core project independently. Jiang Man raised her chin proudly, her eyes sweeping over me in the corner with undisguised mockery and arrogance, her sweet voice sharp and cruel. Thank you, Director Liu, for your cultivation and trust. Some people are just stupid hard workers who only know how to work blindly without any innovation and ability. They can only do trivial chores and are never qualified to take charge of core projects. True ability and talent deserve glory and promotion. The entire banquet hall erupted in noisy discussions. All colleagues looked at me with ridicule and pity, whispering that I was a useless intern who worked hard for nothing, that I was mediocre and incompetent, and that I could only be a stepping stone for others. I stood alone in the cold corner, bearing all the strange gazes and silent ridicule. The 3 months of sincere dedication, late-night hard work, and wholehearted trust were all turned into a ridiculous joke at this moment. The simple and sincere intern Shinji, who believed in friendship and kindness, died completely tonight. What was left was only the cold, decisive group heir who was ready to take back everything that belonged to me and punish all betrayers severely. Word count, 1218. Hashtag rising conflict. The noisy whispers in the banquet hall continued to spread, and the bright spotlight on the stage was like a sharp blade, ruthlessly cutting apart all the false kindness and hypocrisy I had believed in. Lu Chen and Jiang Man stood side by side in the center of glory, accepting the applause and blessings of the crowd, completely immersed in the joy of stealing my achievements. It was at this moment that all the hidden truths of the past 3 months flooded my mind, letting me see through their long-planned conspiracy completely. Lu Chen had never been gentle and kind to me. He had long known that I was diligent and talented, and that I could create high-value core projects. He deliberately pretended to encourage and guide me, letting me devote all my time and energy to polishing the project, waiting for me to complete all the hard work, then took my results for himself and gave them to his lover Jiang Man. Jiang Man's friendship was also a complete fake. She had been jealous of my workability from the very beginning. Even though I always helped her take on work and shared all my experience with her, she was always unwilling to lag behind me. She deliberately approached me to gain my trust, secretly observed my work progress, and colluded with Lu Chen long ago to plan this theft of my achievements. I remembered that a week ago, I took the initiative to hand over the final version of the project to Lu Chen, hoping he could help me check and put it on file for the assessment. He deliberately delayed the review time, pretended that the project needed revision, and secretly sent all my project data to Jiang Man, letting her modify a few trivial details and take it as her own work. I remembered that every time I worked overtime alone in the office, Jiang Man would stay with me on the surface, but secretly took photos of my work content and sent it to Lu Chen. She pretended to be considerate and comforted me for working hard, but in private she mocked me for being stupid and easy to fool. I remembered that Lu Chen had always suppressed my performance evaluation privately. He deliberately took away all my excellent work results, attributed my achievements to the department's overall performance and his own leadership ability, and never gave me the corresponding praise and rewards. He had long planned to use my hard work to pave the way for Jiang Man's promotion. Tonight's awards ceremony was their final and most ruthless conspiracy. They not only stole my 2 months of hard-won core project and hundreds of millions of revenue achievements, but also deliberately humiliated me in front of all company colleagues, completely denying my ability and hard work, shaping me into a useless, incompetent fool, and stepping on my failure to set off their excellence and glory. What made me even more cold-blooded was that I accidentally overheard their private conversation in the lounge just now. Jiang Man snuggled in Lu Chen's arms, laughing sarcastically. That rural intern Shinji is so stupid. She works so hard every day, but knows nothing. We took her project and her honor, and she can only endure it silently. With her ordinary family background and no connections, she can never compete with us. Lu Chen kissed her forehead casually, his tone full of disdain and ruthlessness for me. She's just a poor intern who can be squeezed at will. Her work ability is good, but she has no background and no courage. Even if she knows we stole her project, she can't do anything. After this assessment, she will leave the company in despair, and all her achievements will belong to you completely. Their unscrupulous ridicule and blatant betrayal completely exhausted the last trace of tenderness in my heart. I had treated them with sincerity and kindness, but they repaid me with calculation, theft, and public humiliation. After stealing my achievements, the two of them became more unscrupulous. Lu Chen stood on the stage and continued to speak, publicly discrediting my workability in front of all senior executives and colleagues. In contrast, some interns only know how to do repetitive, trivial work all day long, lack innovative thinking and professional ability, and cannot create any value for the company. Such employees are not worthy of staying in Shengshi Group at all. Jiang Man cooperated perfectly, her words full of deliberate superiority and mockery. Work depends on talent and vision, not blind hard work. Hard work without ability is just useless effort. I hope all interns can learn from me and stop wasting time on meaningless labor. The on-site public opinion was completely guided by them. All colleagues began to look at me with disdain, whispering that I was overestimating myself, that I was mediocre and incompetent, and that I deserved to lose the award. No one knew that the so-called excellent project of the winner was completely stolen from me. The overwhelming misunderstanding and humiliation completely ignited the cold revenge in my heart. I slowly raised my head. The docile and humble look on my face completely disappeared, replaced by the cold and powerful calm of a top consortium heir. I was ready to step forward, completely tear off their hypocritical masks, and let these two greedy and ungrateful people pay the price for their betrayal. Word count, 1405. Hashtag explosion. The warm applause in the banquet hall gradually faded, and all eyes were focused on the proud couple on the stage. No one noticed that I, the forgotten intern in the corner, had completely changed my temperament. I took steady steps and walked slowly towards the center stage, and my steps were calm and powerful, every step trampling on the false glory they had stolen. The simple white shirt on my body no longer looked humble and trivial, but set off my cold and elegant aura, forming a sharp, crushing contrast with Jiang Man's gaudy and vain luxury dress. Seeing me walking forward, Lu Chen frowned tightly, his face full of impatience and contempt. He thought I was going to make a scene out of jealousy, to pester and question them for the award, and make a fool of myself in public. He looked at me condescendingly, his tone cold and reprimanding, deliberately showing his authority as a director in front of all colleagues. Shinji, what are you doing? This is the company's formal award banquet, not a place for you to mess around. Step down immediately, or I will directly report your misconduct to the senior management and fire you on the spot. Jiang Men also looked at me with a proud and mocking smile, her tone full of charity and disdain. Sister, I know you're unwilling, but ability determines everything. You don't have the strength to win the award, so don't be jealous and make trouble for others. IT will only make everyone laugh at you. Facing their joint suppression and public humiliation, I had no anger or fluster. I stood still at the edge of the stage, my cold eyes sweeping over the two of them, my voice clear and powerful, resounding through the entire silent banquet hall. Unwilling? Jealous? The project you are proudly displaying right now, the award you are accepting, and the glory you are enjoying, all of them belong to me. My words instantly stunned the entire audience. All the colleagues and executives widened their eyes, full of shock and doubt. Lu Chun sneered sharply, full of disdain and disbelief. Nonsense. This project was completed by Jiang Man under my guidance. You have never participated in the core design and planning at all. Don't slander us randomly just because you lost the award. Never participated? I raised my voice slightly, my eyes sharp enough to pierce all their hypocrisy. The core data source of the project, the innovative marketing logic, the user portrait model, and the profit prediction formula, all the exclusive core content that has not been announced to the public. I can explain every detail clearly on the spot. Can Jiang Man do it? Jiang Man's face turned pale in an instant. She stole my project only by modifying the superficial framework, and she had no idea about the core logic and data at all. She stood stiffly on the stage, unable to say a word, all her pride collapsing in an instant. Lu Chen's expression also changed drastically, a trace of panic flashing in his eyes, but he still forced himself to be calm and continued to argue sophistically. Before he could speak again, the door of the banquet hall was suddenly pushed open. A group of top-level senior executives in formal suits walked in respectfully in a line. The leader was the group's president and chief financial officer, the two most powerful people under the group's major shareholder. The dozens of senior executives who usually never appeared in small intern banquets bypassed all the leaders on the stage, walked straight towards me, and bowed deeply and respectfully in front of all the stunned people. Respected major shareholder Shin, all senior management of Xingshi Group is here to take your orders. The moment the words fell, the entire banquet hall fell into a dead silence. Every colleague, intern, and department executive was completely stunned on the spot, their eyes wide open, their faces full of incredible horror and shock. The poor, humble, rural intern who was ridiculed and despised by everyone was actually the supreme major shareholder who controlled the entire Xingshi Group. Lu Chen's legs went weak with a bang, and he almost collapsed on the stage. The proud and cold expression on his face was completely shattered, replaced by extreme panic and despair. He stared at me in a daze, his mind completely blank, unable to believe the fact in front of him. Jiang Man's body trembled violently, and the trophy in her hand slipped and fell to the ground with a crisp shatter. All her vanity, pride, and glory were completely crushed in an instant. She stole the project of the group's top boss, humiliated the major shareholder publicly, and completely ruined her own future with her own hands. The on-site public opinion completely reversed in an instant, and the shocked exclamations swept through the entire hall like a huge tide. Oh my God, she's the group's major shareholder, the real top boss. They stole the big boss's project and humiliated her for being poor and incompetent. This is too ridiculous. The director and the intern are so greedy and shameless. They stepped on their benefactor to climb up. The big boss hid her identity to experience the workplace, but was betrayed by the people she trusted the most. I ignored the noisy discussions around me and the desperate expressions of the two villains, and directly gave cold and decisive orders to the group president beside me. Immediately dismiss Lu Chen and Jiang Man from the company permanently, record a lifelong bad conduct file, and issue a full industry blacklist notice to block their employment in all domestic and foreign-related industries for life. sort out all the evidence of their theft of company achievements, workplace fraud, and professional misconduct, hand it over to the legal team to pursue legal responsibilities and economic compensation for all losses caused by the stolen project. Cancel all the honors and promotions obtained by fraud, recover all bonus benefits, and hold the department's supervisory leadership accountable for dereliction of duty. The president bowed respectfully and responded firmly, "Yes, major shareholder. Execute all orders immediately." The crushing blow of identity exposure, job dismissal, industry ban, and legal sanctions completely crushed Lu Chun and Jiang Man. Their hard-won workplace careers and bright futures collapsed completely in an instant, falling from the peak of false glory to the bottom of despair. Word count, 1392. Hashtag final reversal. Under the stunned gaze of all the staff, Lu Chun completely collapsed. He stumbled down from the stage in panic, ignoring his elite dignity and director's authority, and rushed towards me with a pale face, kneeling heavily on the cold ground, begging bitterly with tears streaming down his face. "Major shareholder Shin, I'm wrong. I'm utterly wrong. I was blinded by greed and selfishness. I didn't know your identity. I beg you to give me a chance. I have worked in the company for many years and have made contributions to the group. Don't ban my career." He knelt on the ground and kowtowed repeatedly, his voice hoarse and desperate. He finally realized how stupid and reckless his behavior was. He humiliated and betrayed the supreme boss who controlled his life and death and ruined his decade-long workplace accumulation with his own hands. Jiang Men also lost all her arrogant aura. She knelt beside Lu Chen, her body trembling violently, her face covered in desperate tears, completely without the slightest pride of the award winner just now. "Boss, I'm sorry. I was ignorant and greedy. I was fooled by vanity. I didn't mean to steal your project. I beg you to forgive my ignorance and spare me this time. I don't want to be banned from the industry." I looked down at the two kneeling and desperate people indifferently, my heart completely calm without the slightest pity. All the sincerity and trust one had given in the past 3 months had long been dissipated in their calculation, theft, and public humiliation. I gave them sincere trust and gentle treatment, but they took my kindness as weakness, took my hard work as their stepping stone, and trampled on my dignity wantonly for their own vanity and interests. All their current despair and pain were completely self-inflicted, and they were not worthy of any forgiveness. My voice was cold and firm, resounding clearly in the silent banquet hall, announcing their final irreversible fate. "Lu Chun, as a company supervisor, you abuse your power, embezzle employees' work achievements, engage in workplace fraud, and violate professional ethics. From today on, you will be permanently banned from the industry, bear all economic compensation and legal liabilities, and never have the chance to engage in any management work again. Jiang Man, you betray friendship, steal others' labor achievements, and humiliate colleagues publicly for personal gain. Your false glory and promotion are completely revoked. You will be blacklisted by the entire industry forever, and you will never have a foothold in the workplace circle for the rest of your life. Kindness needs to be matched with bottom lines, and trust cannot be squandered by greed. You chose to betray and humiliate me, so you must bear the worst consequences." Every word was a final judgment, completely crushing their last glimmer of hope. Lu Chen wailed in despair, his whole body completely numb and collapsed. He had climbed to the director's position through years of hard work, but because of momentary greed and betrayal, he lost everything overnight, leaving only endless regret and debt. Jiang Man cried until she lost her voice. She originally had a bright workplace future, but her vanity and greed made her steal her benefactor's achievements and offend the top boss, ruining her entire life. All the company colleagues looked at the two villains with disdain and contempt, and all the previous misunderstandings of me were completely replaced by endless admiration and shock. True Big Boss is always low-key. She experienced the workplace with sincerity, but was betrayed by villains. This reversal is too satisfying. Greedy people get their due retribution. She used kindness to treat others, but got betrayal in return. From now on, she only needs to control her own empire. I glanced indifferently at the two people kneeling on the ground, no longer wasting any emotion on these trivial and greedy people. The 3 months of naive sincerity and wrong trust were completely over today. I used to hide my glory and humble myself to seek sincere feelings and friendships, but this betrayal made me completely wake up. Not all sincerity can be exchanged for kindness. Not all tolerance can be treated with gratitude. Weakness and humility will only breed greed and bullying. Only strength and bottom lines can guard one's own dignity. From today on, I will no longer hide my identity and edge. I will return to my supreme throne, control my business empire with absolute strength, and no longer accommodate any unworthy people and false feelings. I turned around gracefully, leaving the noisy and ridiculous farce behind me completely. The cold night wind brushed my hair, and I felt unprecedented, relaxed, and free. No more naive sincerity, no more humble compromise, no more foolish tolerance. After nirvana and rebirth, I hold power in my hands, shine brilliantly alone, and overlook all trivial greed and darkness, welcoming my supreme and unrestrained new life.